to build families of their own, like the famous Currier and Ives lithograph, Home to Thanksgiving. The theme of our story tonight is as broad and beautiful as America itself. And the ending is happy, a true life fairy tale that closes with a joyous phrase, going home. Now, as I move along down the aisle here, you'll see our This Is Your Life spotlight, warm as the autumn sun, spell happy surprise for you, ma'am, because tonight Mrs. Nellie Logan Adkins, born in Tigers Valley, Kentucky, and now of San Fernando Valley, California, this is your life.
It couldn't be me.
Couldn't be you. It couldn't be anybody else. My goodness. Nothing ever happened in your life? Well, we're going to find out, Ms. Adkins, because this is Thanksgiving time, and you're a Thanksgiving story, and we're going to find out all about it. You may well wonder why. Oh, she's all right, Wilda. This little scamp, what she had to do with this, but she comes later in the story. Whoops, I got your book here. The answer to your life is written between the covers of this book. You see? There you are, and when its pages are closed for tonight, we'll all realize how richly deserving you are to be singled out for our Thanksgiving Eve tribute to the American family. Come along with me, will you? Nellie Adkins. While you sort of get over this first moment of surprise, you want to hang on to me?
Scared and
Well, you're going to have a moment to sort of catch your breath because Hazel Bishop has a surprise for all the ladies in our audience. Something I know you won't be able to resist.
And here it is, girls, Hazel Bishop's fabulous jeweled lipstick. Look, aren't they terrific? See how they sparkle like real diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds. Why, you just can't help being the center of attraction when you show off these jeweled beauties.
But girls, believe me, your Hazel Bishop jewel case is not just for show. See? It's already filled with your favorite shade of Hazel Bishop lipstick. And as you see, your jewel case fits any other Hazel Bishop lipstick.
And now for the best news of all. You can get your Hazel Bishop jewel lipstick for only 15 cents more than you pay for the Hazel Bishop lipstick alone. Yes, you get the Hazel Bishop lipstick plus the jewel case for only $1.25. Think of it. That's only 15 cents more than the lipstick alone. But you must hurry. So tonight or tomorrow, sure, rush to your nearest cosmetic counter and get your Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick.
Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick.
Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick.
Sure, that's what they're saying. Thank you very much, Joanne Jordan. Bob Warren, right this way, please, Mrs. Adkins. To our chair of honor. You've seen This Is Your Life many times, haven't you? Yes, okay. Well, somehow you never dreamed that this could ever possibly happen to you, did you? Won't you sit down here, Miss Adkins? Well, it has tonight. This is for real. Mrs. Nellie Adkins of California and Kentucky. This is your life. Well, ready to go through it with us? Let's travel back through the years to 1899 and eastward across America to a tobacco plantation in a section of Kentucky known as Little White Oak. That's in Tigers Valley, isn't it, Miss Adkins? Yeah. Not far from Greenup, Kentucky?
about 20 miles.
From Greenup. That's a nice name. And here among the pleasant rolling hills, you, Nellie, are born on April 14th, 1899. One of 10 children of Marshall and Amy Logan, tobacco farmers. How many of your brothers and sisters are still living, Miss Adkins?
Yeah, I'm so scared now. I don't know.
Make a guess.
I have
About
4 sisters, 3 sisters, I guess.
Yeah, they're about 6.
And 3 brothers.
Yeah, 6 of regular brothers and 2 half-brothers. Isn't
Yes,
that true?
I do.
Well, Nellie Adkins, isn't it true that because of one circumstance or another, not one of your brothers and sisters has ever been able to visit you in your own home since you and your late husband Boyd left Kentucky in 1916? It's nearly 40 years. My goodness.
When Nellie was 6 years old, I used to carry her across Tigers Creek going to and from school.
Well, here
And
you go.
I was there in Greenup in 1914 when Nellie and Boyd Adkins were married.
Now, those are two voices out of your distant past. Now, whose are they? Can you tell us, Nellie? You haven't seen them in nearly 30 years.
Oh, I
They were dear to your heart in your childhood and your youth. Your half-brother and his wife, here from Tucson, Arizona, are Ed and Josephine, Mr. and Mrs. Edwin Logan. Here they are. Well, now, as I understand it, Ed, the school was on one side of Tiger Creek and your farmhouse was on the other. Is that right?
That's right. We had to walk and we had to wade the creek to get to school.
Sure, and you used to carry little Nellie here across the creek, didn't you?
That's right.
Yeah. She finally got big enough to make it on her own, I guess, huh? But even then, when she was big enough, didn't she insist on being carried?
That's right. I dropped her in the creek.
Oh, you did?
Yes, she learned to walk across the
Creek
on her
after
own.
that? I'll bet she did. You knew Nellie when she was in high... Did he drop you right in that creek like that, Nellie? You don't remember. I'll bet you did that day when that cold water hit. You knew Nellie when she was in high school, didn't you, Josephine, in Greenup?
Yes, Ralph, and she was the prettiest girl in Tyrus Valley. No wonder the
Teacher?
teacher fell in love with her.
Boyd Adkins was your teacher, Nellie, right? You used to go on buggy rides with him, didn't you? Yeah. Were you chaperoned on those buggy rides?
Most of the time.
Yeah, we heard you were chaperoned all the time, but of course there may have been a...
Well, I was, but it's a little embarrassing telling that.
Yeah, well, we won't go into that there. So you married your teacher, Boyd Adkins, on April 26, 1914. Well, thank you very much, Ed and Josephine Logan. You're going to see Nellie a little later there. Just a minute. 1916. Your husband is teaching school in Mound Valley, Oklahoma. And it's here that your firstborn, Elnora, dies, and you take her back to Kentucky for burial. 1917 strikes a happier note in your life as your daughter Wilda is born. And here she is, Nellie, now Mrs. James Overby, the gal that got you into this tonight. Here's Wilda.
I'm living like I've made up for it the last week.
I thought I didn't want to come tonight. I'd taught school all day, and
Yeah.
she just pushed.
Yeah, well, we
After all
had
there.
to
Had
get
to.
here. That's right. And in 1919, another daughter joins the Adkins family, Amy. Now Mrs. Otis Chapman of Fresno, California, and here's Amy. Come on, Amy. Well, with two more mouths to feed, Mommy here decided to help out the family budget, didn't she, Wilda?
Yes, she decided to become a teacher.
Yes, you sit down.
She decided to become a teacher,
Yeah.
and so she attended school with my father at Northeastern State Teachers College at Tahlequah in Oklahoma in order to secure her teaching credentials.
Yeah.
And they obtained a two-room school at Keystone, Oklahoma.
Keystone, eh? Well, thank you, Amy and Wilda. Join your mother's past over there. We have a long, long way to go in our life here. 1921, the beginning of your teaching career, Nellie, in Keystone, Oklahoma. A career that has spanned 33 years. You're still teaching, aren't you, Ms. Adkins?
I am.
Where do you teach?
I teach out of San Fernando, about 18 miles.
Near Saugus? Or New
Yes, near Saugus.
Saugus. But here in 1921, there's a 13-year-old girl in your home economics class who remembers you with great fondness.
Mrs. Adkins was one of my very favorite teachers. Under her guidance, I made my first biscuits, and I'm still using the same recipe.
You probably don't recognize that voice, do you, Nellie? No, because you haven't heard it in 31 years. Here from Keystone, Oklahoma, is a pupil from your very first school. You'll remember her as Georgia Vanoy. Now, Mrs. Fred Lang, here is Georgia. You remember Nellie and Boyd Adkins when they first came to Keystone, don't you, Georgia?
Indeed I do, Mr. Edwards. The houses were all empty, so they had to live in a building that has since become the First Methodist Church.
And Nellie was a good teacher, too, wasn't she, Georgia?
The best. The principles she taught all of us, good character traits that have helped us to face the world, have had a lasting influence on my life. I think Mrs. Adkins is an angel on earth.
You bet she is. Thank you very much, Georgia Vanoy, Mrs. Fred Lang. Back to 1925, Nellie, and Cleveland, Oklahoma, where both you and your husband served as teachers. You moved there in 1924, not too long after your first son is born, a son who proudly bears his father's name. So here is your son, Boyd L. Adkins, Jr. Come on, Boyd.
Had to do something.
Had to fib out of it. And it's here that your third daughter is born, Letha. Now, Mrs. Edward Lewis. Here's Letha. Come on, Letha. Good-looking family, too. Well, the Adkins family's growing. Join the other members of your mother's past there, Boyd and Letha. Family and friends from far and wide coming home to celebrate a real old-fashioned Thanksgiving, Nellie. The years ahead for you are not all happy ones, yet you face them with courage and confidence. Well, that's the first handkerchief I've given out in 3 months, but bless your sweetheart. No one deserved it more. But you always came back with a smile to hold back the tears. Now, we'll come to that in just a moment. Right now, while you relax for a second, catch your breath, we'd like to remind you, ladies, of something mighty important. Now listen, how about that, Bob Warren?
Well, that's right, ladies. This is the last chance I'll have to remind you ladies to be sure to get your stunning new Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick. Why, it looks like $1 million, and for the next few days only. It's yours for only 15 cents more than you'd pay for your regular Hazel Bishop lipstick alone.
You know, girls, I never had any jewelry attract so much attention or get me so many compliments. But best of all, as you see, your jewel case fits onto any regular Hazel Bishop lipstick.
Now, friends, this sensational Hazel Bishop jewel lipstick really fits your Christmas budget, too. You can easily afford to give one to every woman on your list, but you'll have to hurry because the supplies are limited and it's first come, first served. So get your stunning new Hazel Bishop jewel case complete with Hazel Bishop lipstick for only $1.25. That's only 15 cents more than you'd pay for the Hazel Bishop lipstick alone. That's Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick.
Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick.
Hazel Bishop jeweled lipstick. And here's a lovely one for you, Miss Adkins, right there. That little souvenir you can never forget this night now with that. I don't think you're going to
forget it.
I bet you won't. Nellie Adkins, are you ready to go back again through the year? All right. The clock is spinning back to 1928. This is your life, Nellie Adkins. This is Hominy, Oklahoma, Nellie. To help the family finances, your husband has taken a traveling job as a school supply salesman, while you take his place as teacher in a one-room country school.
Mrs. Adkins not only taught us our lessons, but she built the fire in the stove and cleaned the school room before we got there in the morning.
Now, who's that, Nellie? He was a pupil of yours at Greenwood School in 1928. You haven't seen each other in almost 25 years. He's now a root salesman in the ice cream department of Swift & Company in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Bob Lucas. And here he is. Well, now, you haven't seen your teacher, your former teacher here, in a quarter of a century, Bob. How does she look to you, boy?
Just the same 25 years ago, Ralph.
Yeah?
When she spanked me one time for throwing sand at the pupils.
Spanked you for throwing sand? If Nellie spanked you, Bob, she spanked the son of her best friend in Hominy, Oklahoma, Lola. You haven't seen her in nearly 25 years, and here she is from Cleveland, Oklahoma, Bob's mother, Mrs. Arthur Lucas. Here. Come on over and sit down over here, everybody. My goodness. Nellie and her husband had a lot to do with starting the Pawnee County Fair, didn't they, Miss Lucas?
Yes, they did. They organized the track meet and spelling bee and literary, and also display of fruit and a
They bake cakes and pies and all that?
Cakes
Oh,
and,
goodness.
which 3 schools competed each year. And out of that, Mr. Edwards, there came the Pawnee County Fair.
Well, look what you started, the Pawnee County Fair. And you, Mrs. Lucas, looked after Nellie while she was waiting for one of her children to be born. Is that right?
That's right. Her daughter Mary.
Daughter Mary, born in 1928. She's now Mrs. Richard Dovey, and here is Mary. And son, James Kenneth Adkins, born in 1930. Here's Ken, mother, your son Ken. Well, that's 6 children now, a lovely family. Thank you very much, Mrs. Arthur, Lucas, and Bob. Mary and Kenneth, take your places in Mom's past over there. You're going to see her soon. Ahead of you, Nellie, are years of sorrow and illness, but here in 1929, you're busy making both ends meet for a large family. Busy, too, helping your husband rise in his profession.
Boyd ran for county superintendent of schools, and Nellie was right by his side, day and night, all through the campaign.
You recognize that voice, Nellie Adkins? She was a great help.
Really, I don't believe I know my own name.
She was a great help to you, and Boyd, in that campaign, another dear friend whom you haven't seen for 24 years, she's 80 years young, from Skytook, Oklahoma, here is Mrs. Vina Perrier. Vina Perrier. Well, Miss Perrier, did Nellie's husband win the election?
He really did, by the help of Nellie and Nellie's work and campaign.
Sure, but their joy at winning, it didn't last very long, did it?
No, Nellie got word her father was dead in Kentucky, and she didn't get there in time to see him.
Well, such is the life for many hard-working Americans. You're sure you're 80 years old? You don't look like you're 80 years old to me.
They did tell me how old she was.
Thank you, Mrs. Vina Perrier. God bless you. In 1932, you and your family moved to Edmond, Oklahoma. The Great Depression is well underway. You settled on a little 5-acre plot of land. Here, at least, you can provide food to feed your family. To provide enough milk for your growing youngsters, you trade your car for 2 cows. And then you, Nellie, develop a crippling arthritic condition. Still, the need to earn more money is so great that you decide to renew your teaching credentials. And to do this, you walk 6 miles a day through summer heat and bitter winter cold in constant pain to Central State Teachers College. It must have taken a lot of courage for Mother to do this, Boyd.
Mother thought only of her children. She'd be up at daybreak fixing sandwiches for her lunches.
Yeah, but then she probably didn't
And
come
she
up with
did
it.
without, so we could have some.
Is that so?
But we were always a happy family, Mr. Edwards. We always had ice cream on Sunday, and then we'd fight over who'd lick the paddle.
Ah, how'd you make your ice cream?
With snow.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's fine. Without, my goodness. In 1933, the Oklahoma wind sweeps the topsoil off your little farm. You moved to Oklahoma City, but in these Depression days, even teaching positions are scarce, and your husband has to take a job in a filling station at $1 a day, on which you feed your family of 8. In 1936, another son is born, Jack Adkins, and here's your little baby, Jack. Baby! What am I saying? Baby, get alone here. My goodness. It was just about at the time of your birth, Jack, that your sister Wilda got a job teaching school, didn't she?
Yes, in Hominy. We all moved back there because she was the only breadwinner in the family at the time, and I think she made about $80 a month.
I see. Well, thank you, Jack. Join your brothers and sisters over there, please. Thank you. Jack Adkins. What's that?
They were all going to ball games tonight. And
Oh, they were spread out all over the country tonight, the kids. They weren't going anywhere except where you were going to be, but here they all are. Well, you got quite a lot of people to fool, you know. In 1938, Nellie Adkins, you secure a teaching position in a 2-room school in Turleton, Oklahoma. Things are beginning to look a little brighter now, aren't they, Mary?
Yes, Ralph, until our house burned on July 7th, 1939.
Say, Mommy almost ran back in, didn't she?
And Amy had to catch her to keep her from going back in the house.
No kidding?
And you know, Ralph, all we got out of that fire was a half-burned mattress and Jackie Dale's little kitty car.
Jackie's kitty car. You need to thank that guy. Well, as always, Nellie, you came up smiling. Your chin high, more determined than ever to give your children a chance in life. In 1944, you and your two youngest sons, Kenneth and Jack, moved to Safford, Arizona. What was it that made that move necessary, Nellie?
Well, I had arthritis and I was in bed.
Mm-hmm. The doctor
So
said that you...
said if I would come to Arizona. So I brought the two little boys and came.
With little more than the clothes on your back and hope in your heart, you face a new life in a world of strangers.
But Nellie wasn't a stranger to us long. I met her 2 weeks after she arrived at the Sunday school of the First Baptist Church in Safford.
Is that voice familiar to you, Nellie? A good friend in need back in 1944. A friend you haven't seen in 10 years from Cleveland, Ohio now. Here is Shirley Fletcher, now Mrs. Charles C. Ulrich. Miss Ulrich, you visited Nellie that very Sunday afternoon that she arrived, didn't you?
Yes, with another friend from the church.
Mm-hmm.
We found her not living in too good surroundings, and we tried to find another place for her to live.
Yes. Ms. Ulrich and other members of the organization saw to it that you got a stove, washing machine, and other...
She bought a washing machine for me, Mr. Edwards, when I didn't have the money.
Well,
and she paid every cent of it back.
Oh, that's great.
She used to, when I was sick in bed so long, she'd bring me food to eat, tell me I had to eat.
She's a real inspiration to people, isn't she? I mean, this lady.
All my life.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, I was saying to Ms. Ulrich that you have been an inspiration, and...
She's been an inspiration.
Yes, you were, too. Your faith and your courage never failed.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ulrich. Thank you. You know, we could name the whole list as being inspiring people on this show tonight, it just seems to me. Well, that just about brings us to the past. Your husband passes on in 1950. And though life still isn't easy, you're thankful that you can teach, giving to other children the same inspiration that you gave to your own. You're thankful, too, to have all your children and grandchildren living nearby. But your brothers and sisters are far away. And as we've said, have never had a chance to visit you in your home. Well, for this Thanksgiving, Nellie, your lifelong hopes are realized. Here from Wheelersburg, Ohio, is your sister Bess, Mrs. Chris Cotkamp. Here is Bess. Followed by Sister Addie, Mrs. John Frazee of Tygarts Valley, Kentucky. Here is Addie. Here's Addie, dear. And Brother Marshall from Greenup, Kentucky. Brother Marshall. And the twins, Eldine and Elwood. The babies of the family, Mrs. William Harris, Eldine from Cary, Ohio, and from Greenup, Kentucky, Brother Elwood. Here they are. Come on out. Elwood, say hello. Your mother, Nellie, wasn't well enough to make the trip. Bless your heart there, Elwood. Just sit here. She's sharing this night with you, watching on television with your brother George in Greenup. This is your life, Nellie Adkins, the saga of a courageous American woman who reared a wonderful family even though beset by great adversity. Now, we've been inspired by your past and your present. In a moment, we'll have a look at your happy future.
Meanwhile, here's something for people like you and me who don't have a chance to brush our teeth after every meal. It's new Gleam toothpaste, and it's for busy people like this. This girl can't always brush her teeth after eating, even though it's best. And they can't. So they use Procter & Gamble's new Gleam, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal. Gleam destroys decay and odor-causing bacteria with one brushing. Only Gleam has GL70, new cleaner and decay fighter. Here's how Gleam works. Now, this magnified picture shows mouth bacteria before brushing. Now, look, one Gleam brushing destroys most of these bacteria. A Gleam brushing before breakfast protects against mouth odor, freshens the mouth all day in 7 out of 10 cases. Try new Gleam. Only Gleam has GL70. destroys bacteria with one brushing. Gleam toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal. More and more people are switching to Gleam every day. How about you?
Right. Thank you very much, Bob Warren. My goodness, what a Thanksgiving, eh? Nellie Adkins, in your immediate future, there's a big party in your honor right after the show at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. You've heard us say that, and now it's happening to you. All your friends and family have been staying there. Hazel Bishop will present you with a 16-millimeter sound film of this program, together with a Bell & Howell 16-millimeter sound projector, see, to play it on, and a 16-millimeter Bell & Howell camera. You want to use it tomorrow, we know, when Hazel Bishop is arranging a great Thanksgiving dinner for you and your friends and family right in your own backyard. Now, your brothers and sisters have never been in your home. Well, they'll be there tomorrow, and you won't have to raise a finger to prepare dinner. Hazel Bishop will take care of all that. They're going to put up a tent in your backyard. There'll be cooks, waiters, it's a fancy tent, don't worry. It's going to look well. And you won't have to do a thing, Nellie. Just be happy hostess to your brothers and sisters, your children and grandchildren. Now, from Marshall Jewelers, 5th Avenue, New York, Hazel Bishop has for you this 14-karat gold charm bracelet. Each charm a remembrance out of your life. Now, a fellow teacher of yours picks you up every day to drive you to your school. When you visit with your children, they have to come and get you. Now, they won't have to do that anymore, Nellie, because once again, you can drive a car of your very own. We know you drive. Hazel Bishop wants you to accept these keys to a brand new 1955 Mercury. Here they are, Nellie, as a gift from Coal Finder Mercury dealers in Chicago, Illinois. And finally, Nellie, we know that one of the big burdens you've been carrying is the mortgage on your little 4-room home in San Fernando. Though those monthly payments are not always easy to meet, Hazel Bishop wants to give you a helping hand in the form of this check for $1,000 to sort it out. This is your life, Nellie Adkins. We hope that it has been made happier by this night's experience. We know that it has enriched and inspired all our lives. Thank you, and may the joy of Thanksgiving be yours.
All of Mrs. Nellie Adkins' friends were flown here by TWA Luxurious Constellation. Yes, they fly the finest on TWA, the airline that flies 3/4 of the way around the world. And incidentally, congratulations to one of our principal subjects, Max Sennett, whose autobiography, King of Comedy, has just been published. And thanks for the nice things you said about Ralph Edwards and This Is Your Life.
Right. Thanks, Bob. Oh, they're having a time back here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, until next week at the same time, another big surprise on This Is Your Life. Good night. Good night to you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
This Is Your Life is directed by Axel Gruenberg and produced by Alfred Pascal and Axel Gruenberg for Ralph Edwards. This Is Your Life has been presented tonight by Hazel Bishop, makers of long...